All right, here we are in game number one of the winners bracket finals of the HupCup, and this is going to be our blue infernal player, msrm, and his opponent, the red infernal Snoxtar. As I mentioned earlier in the pregame, these two have faced each other a number of times in finals, semifinals, and so on in the Alpha Navigators Cup and other tournaments, so they're probably very familiar with each other. I imagine they also face each other on the ladder or in practice games. But the other side of that coin is the Infernal versus Infernal matchup is kind of open in the early. There's many different openings that you can go, and we are seeing here from Snoxtar double vault as his opening. And msrm sees that too. Ooh, very interesting play there. Oh, and he cancels the vault. Okay. Meanwhile, msrm went conclave into super forward vault. And again, he scouted the double vault from Snoxtar, but then Snoxtar canceled the second vault after the Hexen teleported away and instead sent that imp here to put down a base, which I imagine we'll see as soon as one of those slimes dies. Yeah, so the slime dies, we see the base go down. So a very interesting mind game out of Snoxtar to start this series, hoping that msrm might bite and make the wrong play. Now msrm's also expanded behind this and is actually got a faster expand. So it's not clear what Snoxtar's advantage is from that move, other than mind games, maybe. So msrm might think that he's ahead or behind based on what he had seen. And we do know that Snoxtar is a little bit quicker on his creeping. He's actually going to send these fiends, all these fiends, including one of them is a split brute, around to snag this camp and leaving only one fiend there to do that. And we see that msrm is immediately turning his forces around, sensing these fiends coming in, and the fiends seeing, oh wait, there's actually a full defense there, they decide to turn and just head back to the healing camp, rejoin their other fiend friend, and heal themselves up, and then go back for the kill. So I do like this, knowing that msrm probably would not just leave his army sitting here, goes in, gets a single imp. I don't agree with engaging with the Fellhogs necessarily. Oh, but finding some gaunts, managing to kill one gaunt. The gaunt gets itself wedged in there, so it is able to take out a few fiends before it goes down, but then msrm's troops show up and chase Snoxtar away. They head back to the healing camp. There's more fiends here now for msrm. And yeah, they're going to get a better... Ooh, actually, they turn away and run. I think they would have won that. But because they turn and run, their white health is completely drained now, and those weak units, they don't get to heal up while Snoxtar's two fiends do. Interesting choice, though, not to come and clean up the rest of those fiends. That means Snoxtar is going to be able to hold both of the healing camps. And that's a huge advantage. Not only because you're going to get double the healing boost, but you're also denying that healing boost from your opponent. You know, that's more than double the benefit. Now, these fiends are out here trying to do something, but yeah, the Fellhogs, that's their business. That's the whole reason why they're there, is to defend that camp should some fiends show up. And msrm has gone ahead and creeped out this Luminite camp, whereas it's Snoxtar going for a third base. Snoxtar still has control of this, but he has sent his fiends out to try and gain a couple other camps. Oh, and I thought that might have been a lumber imp, but no, it is just a scouting skull to see if msrm had been aggressive and taken the center of the map. msrm takes his third base now. But we also see his units kind of moving out. I think they're just going to go for this camp. Interesting choice to summon the skull and then just impact it on the slime. I thought the point of the summoning there was to maybe scout. As we see now, okay, so... Ooh! 2 skulls passing in the night. That skull get... Ooh, it's a lot of skulls, I guess. Snoxtar really wants to scout out, and it's in more of the mid game here where the skulls, that's what the skull's power starts to be, is giving you some eyes out on the map. msrm here is getting the advantage, taking out this Luminite, or sorry, Therium tower, while it's Snoxtar taking out the Luminite tower over here. But msrm's just been a little bit ahead in that creeping, a little ahead on the expansions, at least the first expansion, and has been a little bit ahead in supply, although that supply lead seems to be starting to dwindle, yeah. As Snoxtar is, yeah, now completely even in supply. And it's a Nightfall Infestation going down, and the trample, actually really nice trample in there. And it's this Magmadon now wanting to stay alive. Does he have any fiends nearby that he can chomp on? It doesn't look like... Oh, he does get a good chomp in. Getting all that white health, but then finally getting focus fired down. So really nice hero Magmadon, able to get more DPS because he was able to chomp one of those fiends. And there's a nice Manifest Shroud Stone. Able to snipe a couple of gaunts here as they get chased away. And oh, Snoxtar being very aggressive and getting caught in a Nightfall Infestation. That means a few of his units are going to fall. All those infested units running away, but are they going to... Oh, no more kills. So luckily getting back to the safety. And one thing we do see here is that the gaunt count for Snoxtar has certainly increased quite a bit. And he's just going for a chase. Going for the chase here. Oh, he's got full upgrades here. And now they're going to turn and fight. It's a really nice concave for msrm. And he is getting a little bit of the fiend advantage here. But actually good micro from msrm, and he's going to get on top of all these fiends, and now all those gaunts go down. Fiends spawning from every single one of those units. There's just a huge ball. Oh, are you going to get that last gaunt? Come on, don't leave him alive. Boom, goes down. And what is msrm going to do with this? Having won that battle, is he going to try and push in? So he is going to go for these effigies. Maybe not sure if he really wants to push into the static D there. And actually splitting his units? Yeah, what's... Oh, that's why. He's got a Harbinger. Now, the Harbinger is going to get spotted, probably. But remember, he did just win this battle against the army. So, oh, with a huge surround. Nowhere for Snoxtar to go. He's fully surrounded by these units. All of them going down very quickly. Actually, a few reinforcing brutes I didn't see there. On the right, doing a good job of, but that's still just going to be a GG from Snoxtar. Okay, here we are in game number 2. This is going to be Snoxtar spawning in the top right in the blue Infernal. And his opponent, msrm, in the red Infernal. On the bottom right, Hero of Furious Resolve, and we're seeing his Hexen just luckily going in the right direction. I don't know if there's a direction you always want to scout on this map, sort of like on Lost Hope, as I mentioned before, versus a Celestial opponent. And both of them have opted to go counterclockwise, so maybe that is the right direction. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe there is a subtle benefit. But we see msrm sees that Snoxtar... what Snoxtar's got, but Snoxtar does not get to see that. Now, Snoxtar is very likely able to conclude the location of msrm space, but he doesn't know what the build is. And as I mentioned in the last game, the builds are kind of open in IVI. You can open with all kinds of builds. So it's definitely beneficial to have some kind of knowledge about what your opponent's got coming for you. And so far for MSRM, kind of looks like the same build as last match, which is Conclave into Shrine into Vault. Snoxtar's already out on the map creeping his health camp, and he is going to end up with a bunch of Fiends. That's what we saw last game, and I gave him a pretty strong early game by running those Fiends around the map and getting a little map control and harassment, killing an Imp or two if I recall. While msrm now is also getting to his creeping, and again using the Gaunt creep trick. So we see how three of the slimes get on the Hexen, one slime each on the Gaunts, which are a little bit more squishy. And then with some good focus fire, you can make sure that the damage is spread out very well amongst those units. And again, immediately you capture that health camp, and so now they're all healing up. A little bit of a leg spike there. My apologies, as these players are in Europe and I am not. Okay, so the speed camp is now cleared out. Now that is the speed camp that's between the two bases, which means that it is the camp that is sort of going to be contested between the two. Now these speedy little fiends come in with their little speedy new lightning legs, not lightning legs anymore. They come rushing in and they've got a huge DPS, and that's what we're seeing here. Is they're just trying to use that DPS to kill this base, but now, yeah, the reinforcements come in and they have to get out of there. But remember, every point of damage they dealt is just going to remain there. This base never heals. It can be repaired. Unfortunately, nothing in the Infernal kit allows them to repair that. If you had a Bob, you could do it. But there are no Bobs in this match. So where are these Fiends headed? They're maybe going to go get a speed camp? I didn't know if they could capture a speed camp on their own, but that was sort of an interesting choice. Okay, so instead they rejoin with this Brute and this Hexen and go on their merry creeping way. Meanwhile, these units from msrm, that's a much bigger army. And he's going to go for this Luminite camp, but is he going to be aggressive with it after? Because this army is kind of small. Now that doesn't mean there isn't anything back home for Snoxtar. There is a Magmadon there. And it looks like he's going Ritual and Twilight Spire at the same time. That's an interesting choice. A couple more units popping out. But he's so far across the map there. Yeah, he goes and splits his Brute and sends these Fiends back out to see what he can do. Meanwhile, msrm is getting these bigger camps, which of course means the bigger resource bonus from taking the camp. But now he's also soaking in a Therium and a Luminite camp, which just improves his... We saw a Shrine go down there, cancelled of course. And, ooh, get our surround on those Gaunts. Actually, one going down and one managing to sneak its way out. And again, that's testament to the DPS of the Fiends, as they're able to focus that squishy Gaunt down real quick, even though they themselves are super squishy as well. And out comes the Mag. Pretty brave Mag, actually. Uh-oh. The Mag turns and gets his trample off. So that chased those Fiends away. Now there's a third base going down here. This third base here is not always considered to be a safe one to take. But this one gets denied. Imp's going to go down too. So each of them now is denied a third. But that puts Snoxtar a little behind. This base is now almost up. But these Fiends do get in there. Oh, wait, what do we see here? I didn't see the Harbinger across the map, but here it is, causing a bunch of trouble. All on top of these imps, and that's just what you do not want to see. Now they're going to get on top of these gaunts that popped out. But with all the fiends there, that poor brute saw a move command. And they're going to load back up and go for a third if they can. And these units are now way out of position. Way out of position. So this drop maneuver was msrm's deal for, like I said a few weeks ago. My apologies with the bug there. Oh, come on, jeepers. But today it's Snoxtar using the drop. And msrm a little bit caught back on his heels because of it. Now, taking some damage, but I don't want to call it major damage. Now Snoxtar may be thinking, hey, I kind of saw what your army looked like, and I might be able to take it. And moving in here, dropping down with his gaunts. That Harbinger, again, creating Shroud. Of course, that's beneficial for everybody in this matchup. And the single Magmadon here making it really hard to fight into that, knowing that if he just turns and fights, that Magmadon can trample and do some serious damage. And at least for the moment, it's going to be zoning the army of msrm back so that this base can be denied again. Few gaunts here caught rallying the wrong direction. Well, it's an effigy there. This Magmadon being chased down by these fiends. If he triggers his trample, that could end that. Although he gets the surround, no trample triggered. I think the reason we're seeing that is because while we're watching this, what's going on in the main is another drop. So Snoxtar has been getting some pretty good damage done with the Harbinger and the drop. Now I don't see the Harbinger anymore, so I think it might have got sniped by the tower or maybe something else. Now these units are going to be taken out. This is not going to kill the Greater Shrine. And msrm has decided he's just going to move across the map. It looks like he did kill the Magmadon. It's more gaunts that come out of that Harbinger when it's dropped, not another Magmadon. Pretty good split on that. Now the Magmadon is getting right on top of those units. And they're just not that great against it. They are having to run away. So Snoxtar's force here is enough to hold. And these poor squishy gaunts getting chased down by the fiends. That's going to be GG from msrm. Alright, here we are back at it. This is going to be game number 3 between these two. And this is going to be msrm spawning in the blue Infernal. And his opponent in the red Infernal is going to be Snoxtar. And this matchup is going to be played out on Ruination, where looks like we're going to get a shrine first from Snoxtar. And yeah, it looks like it's going to be Ditto out of msrm. Also going for the shrine first. This map's a little larger and it's a little bit safer to do that as your natural's in the pocket. And we have Hexen here scouting. Hexen fighting with an imp. That imp was trying to put down a production building, but probably got blocked. And we also have, it looks like, Conclave. Snoxtar says, nice build. And that's because they are doing the exact same build. Thank you, says msrm. They're very polite. Better than a few other opponents we had today that had a little nastiness in the opening of their game instead of this kindness. This is what we like to see. Hey, little chicken. You don't give money anymore. Oh no! They were so kind to each other, and then this? Terrible. Terrible. But msrm's Hexen does manage to get away with only taking a couple schmacks there. She's going to get home safely. And yeah, I'll pop a couple gaunts, and looks like I was gonna say go for the health camp. There is no health camp anymore. No more on Ruination. Too bad. Not necessarily the direction I would have gone there. I think having a pocket health camp is kind of good. But I'm okay with some maps having that and some maps not having that. And especially in the early access here, let's try out everything we can. These Shadow Masses are being annoying as they definitely can be for Snoxtar. Like, will you please just line up in a way that's easy for me to focus fire you all down? But they're like, nope. We will instead try and do as much damage to your units as possible and reset ourselves for the third time. So it looks like Snoxtar having a harder time with those creeps than msrm, who's already moved out to the center of the map. And we are going to get a little bit of an engage here. Oh, I love that. The skull was scout. I assumed it was going for the Shadow Demon, but no, it was actually trying to scout, knowing that these units might be here. Why? Well, they did very similar openings, and they commented on it, so... Very interesting. Alright, so msrm is going to turn and try and fight the creeps, but Snoxtar is going to also... And they're hesitating. Do we go for the creep income, or do we go and try and snipe units from our opponent? msrm getting the first Shadow Demon, but now coming up... Ooh, I think he might have got the third Shadow Demon, or the second Shadow Demon as well. There is no third Shadow Demon, which is lucky, I guess. So those things hit hard. And he is Hexen managing to get away fairly low health. And with no health camp on this map, there's just nothing for Infernals to do here. For Vanguard and Celestial, there are in the faction ways that you can heal up. But for Infernal, sorry, there just isn't. Your damage is your damage. I guess that's a lie. There's still the cabbage. There's still the cabbage out on the map. And if this Hexen finds the cabbage, she can get back up to full that way. Now, interestingly, msrm going for these center... I mean, he does have control of the center in terms of the vision tower. So it makes it safer for him to be taking these camps. He'll get forewarning. Now, there's come some fiends. Fiend on fiend violence. But now he sees, oh wait, there's actually a whole big army coming. And it's not clear that his army is big enough to fight it. So instead, he scoops up... He scoops up some of his gaunts. Now, did they see it? Yes. They did see that. It's not clear he saw what it was, though. He saw units. Yeah, I don't think he saw that it was a Harbinger. Or I don't think he'd be moving all the way across the map. And here comes Snoxtar up the ramp. This is a force that could be held. But meanwhile, we do have a drop happening in the main. Oh, what's it doing? Not a lot of damage. Now, msrm has to micro both of these forces. He summons oh, with the huge flanking Magmadon coming in on top of all these units, getting some huge kills here on these gaunts. Wow. Meanwhile, back at home for Snoxtar, that's already going to be a GG.